In Avengers Endgame, Loki escapes with the Tesseract in the 2012 timeline, but he is captured later by the TVA and brought into the Loki series. And of course, this does create a massively branched reality. Now, with the Tesseract gone, Thor has no way of getting back to Asgard. Of course, I'm sure Frigga and Odin would find a solution in the long term, and so would Heimdall, but that will have to wait. Now, Captain America Steve Rogers returns to the 2012 timeline and he returns the Mind Stone to the Scepter and makes sure that Hydra gets it back, unfortunately. And Hydra does not think that Captain America knows who they are because Hydra would assume that the Captain America who told them Hail Hydra was Loki in disguise. Because remember, the Captain America from the 2012 timeline saw the Captain America from the Endgame timeline and he assumed it was Loki in disguise. And so he would Captain America already reported that, and then maybe Hydra agents would make sure, and they might ask Captain America, "Hey Cap, did you ride the elevator with us earlier?" And then Captain America from 2012 timeline would say, "No, that wasn't me. That was probably Loki." And then Hydra would be like, "Oh, okay, so." Loki knew that we were Hydra, and I guess Loki is just really smart, and he is basically a god. So maybe that's how we knew. So Cap doesn't know our secret, so we're still safe, but we'll be more wary of Cap now. So I don't think this makes a huge difference for Captain America with a Winter Soldier, because they wouldn't really suspect Cap of anything. Now, the Captain America would return the Time Stone to the Ancient One, and the Ancient One would take the Time Stone and say, "Okay, thank you." And then maybe the Ancient One might make a comment about Steve Rogers' future, but I'm sure she wouldn't get too much into that. I'm sure Steve Rogers wouldn't necessarily want to know. So, the Ancient One would probably bring Thor home. I'm sure the Ancient One doesn't would not would want to get Thor home. I'm sure she wouldn't want him around too long because remember, it was Doctor Strange who helped Thor find Odin, so maybe the Ancient One would help Thor back to Asgard. Maybe she just goes up to Thor and says, "Hey, I'm just this wizard person and I can create a portal with my sling ring and I can just send you back home." So the Ancient One would send Thor back to Asgard, and of course on Asgard, without the Tesseract, they have no way of fixing the Bifrost. So Heimdall would just be looking for solutions, and then Frigga and Odin would be happy to have Thor back, but of course they would be not happy that Loki is still on the loose and that Loki is still out there somewhere, so they would try to look for Loki. Now, in this timeline, in Thor the Dark World, without Loki in the picture, he never tells Curse to go upstairs, and Curse never finds Frigga, so maybe Frigga kills Malekith, and then maybe Curse and the Dark Elves are forced to flee, and then maybe Odin and the Asgardians hunt them down. It's hard to tell what would happen in Thor the Dark World because Loki was a pivotal part in all of that. So my best guess would be that Frigga would kill Malekith because Curse would have never been told by Loki to go up the stairs, and the Dark Elves would have had to retreat, and they would try to get back the Ether, but it's unclear if any of the other Dark Elves really knew how to use or conjure the Ether, so maybe they just tried another attack, but then Asgard would be prepared, and then they would just counterattack, so... And I'm sure the Asgardians over time would probably figure out a way to destroy the Dark Elves, and I'm sure maybe they might even go to the nuclear option, maybe turning on the Bifrost and using it to destroy the Dark Elf realm completely. So that would be interesting. Now, Captain America the Winter Soldier, as I said, that doesn't change too much, except maybe Hydra is a little bit more apprehensive about Captain America, but the outcome of the movie probably wouldn't change that much. Civil War, same thing, not much of a change. Obviously, Ragnarok, major difference, because with Frigga is still alive. Frigga would presumably be still alive, because Loki is the one who led Curse to Frigga, as I keep saying. So with Frigga alive, I doubt Odin would have necessarily been so depressed, so maybe he would stay around longer. And of course, Odin would have never gone to Earth in the first place. Odin would have never been taken away from Asgard because Odin would never have been usurped by Loki. So Odin and Frigga still around, and maybe Hela doesn't come, so maybe Ragnarok does not even happen. But of course, Thanos would come, so maybe there's a scenario where Odin has to fight Thanos, or maybe the Ancient One has to fight that, or I guess the Ancient One would still die, so because and Doctor Strange will still be in the picture. So I don't know. Maybe with Odin still in the picture, maybe there's more of a fight with Thanos, and maybe Thanos destroys Asgard and Odin and Frigga, or maybe Odin and Frigga and Asgard destroy Thanos. Who knows what happens there? But without Loki in the picture, There are many things that change in this timeline.